What's up, guys? It's Jake from Response on Play. We're starting a new segment called Any Responses, where you guys ask us any question you want to know, like, what is your favorite deck? What gear do you use when going to events? Or even something silly like, why does Jake hate Andrew so much? And we answer them. So you can ask anywhere that we post, either on our Facebook posts or any other social media, or even in the comments, and we'll pick one question and answer it at the end of the podcast. And let's get right into the episode.
What's up, Response on Players? It's Brian, back at it again with another podcast. As always, I'm joined by
Steph, freshly back from Canada.
Jake, heaven or hell?
Andrew, hell or heaven?
I'm James. I wish it was colder here.
Let's Rock Indeed.
It's just, no one even said that. Also, just wishing it was colder in this. Where are we?
We're at Tim Hortons, bro.
It's a Timmy's,
my bad.
dude.
So I didn't look at the sign when we walked in.
Well, you would know that if you'd gone to Canada with us, because they were everywhere.
Look, I tried
What I
to
hear.
stow away in your guys' baggage, and I got thrown out immediately.
Yeah, they don't like that.
You were over the weight limit. They didn't want to pay the extra.
Yeah, they just hate it when you try to smuggle people in baggage.
Over
Hate it.
international borders, yes.
Yeah.
Well, man, weird. I got out, and they were just like, bro, what are you doing in there? It's like, oh, this is illegal now?
Thought this was America.
This episode brought to you by human trafficking. Do it with
Actually, it's brought to you by the TSA. Don't do that.
Don't do that.
Don't do that.
Here's a safety video of why you shouldn't do that.
I'm not going to watch it, though.
Just like everybody else. So, speaking of the Great White North, Canada, two of our members, of course, went to the first Canada Regional in Toronto. Right? I'm not crazy. That's where it was.
Yep. It was
No,
in Toronto,
yeah.
yep.
Well, we'll get into that.
Toronto adjacent.
Yeah,
The Greater Toronto Area.
well,
Not
Greater.
very emphasis on great.
The
And
moderate.
Yeah.
Alright.
So, well, we'll get into
You can
that.
explain
Go
that
on.
in a little bit. But two of our members went, specifically Steph and James, two of our beloved members, and you all love them. We don't. That's how it works.
Slander, speaking for me.
Yeah, I speak for everybody right now, because I'm the one in charge of this episode.
Speak
Oh,
for
my
the
bad.
trees.
Didn't realize you were the freaking Lorax, bro.
I speak for the show. We've had a lot of exciting news with that, and then, of course, reveals. So, let's not waste any time. Let's get into it. Steph, how'd you do?
So, I will say right now, I did 200% better than I did in my previous tournament, which was Louisville. So, really excited about that. Instead of going 0 and X, I went 2 and 4. Yay!
Hey, I mean,
Not
that is better, but, I mean, hey.
Wouldn't that be like infinitely better because the first number was 0?
That's what I tried to say, and I was shot down.
Yeah,
was
well,
shut-
I don't give a fuck about that. I'm gonna be honest. Like, 2 and 4, I'm taking that.
No. I'm not saying you didn't improve over the previous record. I was just saying, isn't that like infinite growth because 0 can't be grown or anything? Though I
Oh,
guess there are
yeah.
some
Yeah,
statistic modes in which technically 0 to 100 is 100% growth, not an infinite growth.
See, when I said I don't give a fuck about that, I meant math specifically and like numbers and not like this concept because I'm just like, I don't like math.
Math
I don't like
is,
thinking about
math is pretty cringe.
I don't like thinking about zeros and infinites and
I don't
want
want to hear that, Andrew. Not after last week.
I don't like math. Also, I don't know what happened last week. It's all a blur.
True. But, so Steph,
Anyway.
you went to 4.
2 and
Um,
4.
And
yeah.
who were you playing?
I was playing Ryu. It was a really fun deck. It was a deck that Gavin, who was a guest on our previous episode, he built it for me. And I kind of like changed it a little tiny bit, not very much. I built the sideboard and like I think I put in like one Turtles card. But
Uh-huh.
you know, I I felt validated at the time because I brought Ryu and I was like, oh, 3.9% of the people that are here brought Ryu. And then I heard your guys' podcast last episode and you were like, yeah, so 2 people brought Ryu. And I was like, oh, well, you know.
Well,
I
I was
mean,
gonna
hey.
hype you up and say, "Hey, you were on the pie chart. That's really cool.
Yeah.
You were right
Yeah.
in some manner."
Yeah.
But
So that was
obviously,
this is pretty well, at least one other person saw the sauce with Ryu and was like, he could make it. He did not make it. But maybe
I
that
was-
other guy did better with Ryu.
I was gonna say though that obviously you brought a completely original list because you changed a card,
Yeah.
and that's how it
exactly.
works.
That is how it works. I did.
I've heard it said by people named like Cameron Cardwell and some other people that if you change
Okay.
anything, it's completely unique.
Well, I brought a completely unique list then, and Gavin didn't help me at all. So, yeah, it was all me.
Immediately just showing him to the curb. It's like, you know what? It's my idea now.
Not that we
Yeah,
don't look yes.
Plagiarism at its finest.
Yeah, it performed really well though. I liked it. I think I just struggled with I struggled with opponents that had bombs, so people who could give plus 18 plus 18.
That's
I
a
had
lot,
barrier
man.
shield. Yeah, I had barrier shield in the side, so game 1 I would lose because they would blow it up and I didn't really have any way to block that. And then game 2, if I found barrier shield, I would win. And then game 3, it was like, well, am I finding barrier shield again? So I think barrier shield for Atlanta going to go on the main board. I struggled with that. I played Calvin T, the guy who won the tournament. Played him round 1, and I almost 2-0'd him. It came down to a check. So if I had checked a 5, I think I would have won that. I think I would have 2-0'd him, and he was sweating. He was nervous. So I was really proud that, like, first of all, that I took a
Oh,
game
yeah.
off of him, took him to 3, and second of all, that I almost 2-0'd him, and third of all, that like I made him nervous. Like he was like,
Hell yeah.
I think I mean maybe he wasn't. I'm not sure, but like it seemed like he was nervous. Like he slowed down and he was like reading every card I played, and he was kind of talking to me and talking to himself, and he was like, okay, I don't know what to do. I got to really think about what I need to do here, you know. And it was like I made a pro like think. He
Yeah, I was
didn't
gonna
just
say,
steamroll me.
Don't downplay what you are hyping yourself up for, you know?
Yeah.
Like, you did great.
Yeah. Yeah. It was really fun. So yes, I struggled with the bomb, and then I struggled with my arch nemesis, and I had flashbacks to playing Toya, and it was really cringe. It was a Paul. So I lost against a Paul. Yeah. Yeah. Laugh it up.
No. I mean, it's
Wrap it
because
up,
I have
Virgo.
said multiple times that Paul is just an aggressive Toya.
Yeah, you said that in the last podcast episode, and I was like, God damn it, he's right.
And I was
hate
like,
this
that's-
Oh
that's
God,
just
he's
one
right. That's why I hate
character.
Paul.
Yeah, I can't like wrap my head around how to play against this character. Like, how do I play against this stun where it's just like I'm gonna stun everything out and then I'm gonna give it plus X whatever equal to how much I stunned you, and also like, so I tried not building a lot and that kind of worked, but then I didn't have a lot on the backswing and I was wanting to block because I'm Ryu and he was just kind of half blocking,
Yeah.
and then I was like, maybe I build out a lot and then he can only do it once and I might have the reset. So I built out a lot, but then I didn't have my reset. And so he's like, okay, well, you have 12 tap foundations. So I'm going to give it plus 12, plus 12. I'm going to do it like a million times. And it's just like, what do I do against
Yeah.
this? I don't know
mean,
what to do.
Do you want
That's
Kill
just a
him
matchup
first.
that, yeah, that's just kind of the matchup that you sort of have to like tech into. Not something you
Yeah.
really know off rip of like, well, you can see as soon as you see Paul, you're like, oh, you're a stun deck. Okay, I see where this is going. It's just not something you can immediately just have the answer to like out the gate. But it is very rough to play into a stun deck.
Do you want the
Yeah.
answer stuff or no?
What's that?
You want the answer to this problem?
I do want the answer. Please, God, tell me
I
the
got-
answer.
I've got you, and this will work even at home against Chuck and
Okay.
one
Okay,
word.
okay.
Glock.
True.
All right, you know what? That's fair. Anytime
So
I mention
true.
Toya in anybody's vicinity, I can actually hear the loading of a Glock.
Just do the classic eat their character card. Like 100% success rate.
You know what? Based.
Yeah,
Sure,
anytime I
sure,
see anytime I see like stun mechanics on like a character card, I just start doing like the Kubrick stare, you know, I'm just like I'm here again.
It's like, yes.
But yeah, 2 and 4, I'll take it. It's an improvement, and my goal was to win 1, and I did twice my goal. So hopefully Atlanta will do even better.
Now you just need to do 3 times your goal because it's still win 1.
Yeah, I'm gonna try.
Hey, I believe in you.
Now
Thank you.
I'm sure we'll be fine. I am sure that we'll get you some extra testing on Ryu, which I think is a big part. Knowing more of what we're probably going to see in the event, just because nothing got banned. All these events are kind of a snapshot of what we should see, because things won't change. Not really. But yeah, so you played Ryu. You did fine. You're happy with your performance. We even talked about one of your matches. James,
Yes.
who were you playing?
I played Mirio from the starter deck.
Interesting. I saw a Mirio on stream.
Must have been someone else.
Yeah, probably because they lost. So
Yeah, someone else.
surely
happened-
you would never lose because
No.
Someone else
losing's
that
cringe.
happened to also have a response on play jersey.
You can't prove that.
I'm
I-
pretty sure I can.
I think we can actually.
Nah.
Mods, pull up the VOD.
What?
Yeah, that game made me mad. That stream game, drawing like 12 cards and 2 of them being orange is just like, come on. But
Man,
no,
you had to hear me watching that match. I was like, oh man, he's fuming right now. I could just
I could definitely knew that he was also fuming, and I could tell he was tunnel visioned because he kept just trying to draw more cards. When I'm like, just build, man, it's fine, you're fine. Just build a couple, and just like make him have it.
yeah. I don't know. It was rough, but that game in particular, I feel like had I drawn attacks on that turn, I feel like I could have won it. But
That was the backbreaking one.
All, it was fine. I finished. I went 3-3. Finished 24th place.
Not bad.
Yeah,
Pretty good.
it was perfectly in the middle.
Cutting off you for 2 seconds. Steph, do you remember your placement?
I think
Like
I
the
was.
number?
What was I? I was pretty close to the bottom. Was I like 42nd or something? Maybe.
Sounds right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I had. By the way, small interjection. I had like the same problem as James, where against that Paul, I pile shuffled, I normal shuffled, and I checked like 8, literally like 8 attack. I counted. It was 8 attacks in a row on my first like 2 turns or something like that.
Ugh.
And then I like drew a couple foundations, and then I checked 3 more attacks, and then I like it was like by turn 4, I think or maybe 5, I had like 16 or 18 attacks in my discard, and then of course on my kill turns I just had nothing. So it's like some of these things, it's like that's just RNG. That's just part of card games. Like, what am I supposed to do about that? I did my
Especially
best.
our card game. Yeah, definitely. Oh, but it was the same Paul that you.
It
had
was
the
that
problem
It was
Paul.
the same
Yeah.
exact
Paul.
same guy.
It was the same
Yes.
Paul. Yeah.
That's cool. So
That guy. He
beat-
just had like he was like a witch, I think, or something.
He
you
was
know?
he was actively reshuffling your deck. He was sorting them whenever
Yeah.
he went for the cut. He was just like, I'm
He
a
literally
magician.
said,
actually.
hey, check this out. Attacks on the bottom of the deck, or attacks on top of the deck when you go to check.
Yeah, he had some like sleight of hand
He's
shit
gonna-
going on.
he,
You
he
know.
cuts the deck and he's like, "These 12 foundations are gonna be so funny."
And it's gonna be on camera, and no one's even gonna see me do it
Yo,
because
what
I'm
if
a
you just-
master wizard.
What if you just drew all gray? Wouldn't that just be haha funny? Anyway, draw all gray.
It'd be haha funny to
Yeah.
me. I was having a good time watching.
But other than that, it was a pretty good. Like the run itself was fine. Fortunately I had to play against both Calvins, so I played against Wub in round 2 and just lost to Zeke because that's what you do against Zeke. The deck's very good.
Deck is good.
And then I played Godzilla Calvin in round 4 and took it to 3. I broke serve and actually won game 1, but I just couldn't quite take it in game 3. It was a bit of a back and forth. He blew up the stage, and so it was what it was. But it was pretty close, and so I'm okay with that. And then I lost to Paul on stream. But other than that, I had some really good games, and had a good time, especially with my last round opponent was playing the Mega Mutant Machine with Pumat Soul. And yeah,
it was the guy on round 1? Is the round 1 guy?
maybe if there was only one there, then it must be.
Well, he wasn't on the pie chart, so...
Yeah.
He wasn't on the pie chart, and he was on the stream for round 1.
Yeah, round 1 was Pumat Soul versus somebody else I can't remember.
Mikasa 3.
Mikasa 3, thank you.
Yeah, so that guy was great to play against. Very fun match. But overall, I just had a really good day. I played, I think, what else did I play? There's 2 more. So I played Annie in round 1, and then I played a Midoriya 6, and won that match.
Yeah, new Midoriya.
Nice.
Yeah.
Not the old Midoriya.
But other than that, nothing insane that stood out. It was just kind of a very middle of the road tournament day for me.
Fair. Steph, you didn't. You mentioned the one with the Paul list, etc. Were there any other standout games?
I think I played the same Pumat Soul. Yeah, I did. Yeah, because you played against him, and then I was like, beat him. Because that's what you do. When someone beats you, you tell your friends to beat him if they get matched against him. No offense to that guy. You were a really cool opponent. That's just how it goes. But like, yeah, his deck was cool. Pumat Soul has some interesting stuff going on, and he was one of the characters where I was like, he had the bomb and I didn't have barrier shield, so it was just kind of over. Like he had like bedazzling helm blast, and then he had like the asset that gives it +4, and then he like picked it up and he played it again and he gave it +4 again, or something like that. Something like that happened. Some crazy stuff. And I think that game we called the judge like 3 times or something like that. Because like we weren't, or maybe it wasn't with him. There was one game where we called the judge over like 3 times because neither of us knew how things worked. So what one of the judge calls was they used something to take. Oh, it might have been sweeping daggers to take my shift, my Titan's Haymaker or whatever, the one that shifts into foundation.
Yeah.
And he was like, we were like, does this shift down into like a blank foundation? And like we weren't really sure what happened. And then the judge was like, no. You can have the keyword, but nothing happens.
Yeah, because sweeping daggers can't transform into anything.
Yeah so we had a couple moments where we were like, what happens here? I'm confused.
It's like, judge?
Yeah, that was like kind of getting close to the middle of the day, and everybody was like hungry and tired, and we were just
that's
like,
actually really funny. Like, because I'm just thinking about it, and I'm like, well, even if it could, it still says May. He could just put it wherever it was supposed to go otherwise.
Yeah.
And not called. But at the same time, free foundation. I'm going to ask the judge, hey, do I get a free one?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair. But yeah, it has nothing to transform into. So, like, it would just not do anything. You could go to put in momentum or just put it in the drop.
Yeah, that's basically what he said. He was like, it will gift the shift keyword, but it doesn't do anything when you shift it. It's just empty. Like, empty shift. Nothing's there.
Yeah, won't matter if you, like, steal a patchwork baby or something.
Going back to discard. Because you would try to build it, it would not be buildable, and it would go. It would get cleared.
Pretty much.
I assume is how that would work.
I think so.
Yeah. So obviously, Pumat Soul was a standout for both of you. You guys remember that? Anybody else cool that you guys played, or anybody you want to shout out while you guys were there?
Yeah, I mean, all my opponents were really cool. I had a great time. It was just those are the ones that I remember most clearly.
James?
I talk about all my opponents, so.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, he's thinking so hard about it.
No, I just everybody that we met there was super great. We hung out with Corey Nelson and Justin from MGLA, and hung out with them for a bit. Obviously, Levi was there, so that was nice to see him again. Been a little while.
It's been forever since I've seen Levi, and I live like where he lives. It's crazy.
Yeah. And then we talked about some of the guys from Michigan actually that are planning to start a store up there in Ann Arbor, and they're hoping to. It looks like they got a pretty cool spot. They're hoping to host a regional there in the future. So once that gets up and going, hopefully that'll happen.
Yeah, that sounds kind of fun, kind of interesting.
Yeah, it looks like a pretty cool spot. It's got like hotels that are super close, and it's like part of like an entertainment complex. So there's like tons of stuff to do.
Like the Vegas store that was hosting.
Like
similar,
like Velocity.
Yeah, very similar.
Ooh, yeah, that
Cool,
actually
cool,
sounds
cool.
really sick.
Sounds fun.
Yeah. I personally wanted to touch a little bit
Yeah.
about like some of the decks that were at Toronto, because we talked about it last episode. But I kind of wanted to talk
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 about it
about them
more.
a bit more. Yeah. Um.
That's fair. I'll hand it over to my co-host, Andrew.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I'm a co-host. Let's go.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Anyway, so
Hey, look, you're my favorite jester.
I wanted to touch on a couple of the characters that were shown that in Toronto. Obviously, a good amount of Godzilla. Godzilla is still very good. I don't think
Mhm.
Godzilla is going to be going anywhere anytime soon.
True,
So long
bestie.
as they keep printing really good chaos stuff. Someone that has also just been climbing the ladder of just showing up more frequently is Deku 6, Midoriya on the move. That character hasn't really been on anyone's radar, I feel like, until early this year. Because I feel like no one was playing him. And then after Nats this year, he started kind of poking his head up. And the last few regionals, he's been in the top percentages, and he won Spain and got second place in Toronto, I believe, losing to Godzilla. So I definitely think Deku 6 is a character that people should keep an eye on. I mean, he's a very versatile character. Has speed manipulation on the front side, can also reduce damage on top of just being able to, on the backside, flashing an attack at 0 speed, basically barrier shielding a move without the breaker. Like, the character just seems really good.
Yeah, both Godzilla and Midoriya have been first and second place in multiple regionals this year, so I feel like something's got to happen to him. You know, I don't know. I don't know when they're going to do it, because every event is days after the first of the month. So
Definitely this year, it has felt very much that. I mean, that's not actually true, because Albuquerque was in the middle of the month, because that was when Apocalypse dropped, etc. But definitely, it feels like, hey, something's about to release, so we're not changing something. Hey, the event is happening like that weekend, so we're not changing something.
yeah.
Mhm.
So I don't know. I feel like they kind of just have to be like, hey, we're going to do an emergency out of order ban. This is what's happening. It's going to be effective for Atlanta, kind of thing,
Yeah.
or something like that. Because like if they keep waiting to not affect a tournament, they're never going to be able to change anything. I guess they could do it for the winter
Nats.
regional, since that
Yeah,
one's
And that's in
in like the 20th of December or something like that. But
Is it? Have we
Yeah.
gotten an actual date?
I believe it's on the UGN.
Is it? I
I
haven't
was told
looked.
about.
I mean, I understand not really wanting to immediately jump on making like an emergency change, just because people are putting in time with a certain card or deck or whatever, and changes get made, and their strategy takes a hit, and they're like, okay, well, I only have like a day to pivot. But also at the same time, those emergency ban and erratas happen for a reason. So like,
sure,
if something
sure.
is performing way too well, then
Yeah.
something has to give. Unfortunately, that just comes with balance of a game.
Yeah. I wonder when we're going to reach that point with Godzilla where we're just like, he is consistently topping quite a bit, and he's consistently showing up quite a bit, which is not in itself a bad thing. People like playing Godzilla. He's a popular character, and he's really fun to play. I know that because I played Godzilla a lot.
Yeah.
But it's I feel like we're starting to maybe reach the tipping point where we're just like, okay, he's doing really, really well. He seems very strong, and it's pretty meta warping to play around this character and like all the crazy things that he can do. Maybe meta warping's not the right term, but he's really strong.
Yeah.
Sure. Do you think it's just because he gives the +3, the static 3, as his? I mean, obviously he's a 6-hand size, high health character with a board reset, which is very good. When people push that button, But
I don't know if it's the 3 damage, because it is locked to 5 difficulty or greater, and you can make an argument that that is not a good gate because a lot of good attacks are 5 difficulty or higher, and Godzilla just gets to run those really well.
True.
I honestly don't know if really the static is the issue. I honestly don't really know if it's the character itself and more so just the toys that Godzilla gets to play with.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I
was gonna say
mean,
my
if-
argument would be that it's the kit around him, not even from him specifically. Like if you just picked up a challenger deck and like put 2 of the challenger decks together to make like the coolest version of that, I don't feel like that tops anything. Like, do you beat some people? Absolutely. But does it top an event? I don't think that's true. So there's definitely some wiggle room of I don't think it's the character himself, but I do think he has symbols that are very, very strong or have just not ever not gotten something good every single time.
Yeah.
I'm wondering
Yeah, go ahead.
what has pushed him over the edge, because he's been consistently showing up since Atlanta. And I guess he was topping in Atlanta too, but like, what is there anything that makes him feel especially strong now, or is it just because he is showing up in tops fairly often?
I know one card that was really good for Godzilla when it came out, and Unfazed. Being a, what is that, a 4 high or 6 high
4 high 7.
4 high 7, 4 high 10 in Godzilla with Echo. And Godzilla can easily print momentum because he has the chaos symbol. So you say, hey, it's a 4 high 10. You're not going to want to eat 10, so you're going to block it. I'll have +1 on my check. I'll have +3 if I choose to enhance with Godzilla if I have an extra momentum. I'll Echo.
Or
I'll
if
now
you've played
hit.
City Rampage.
Exactly. So I'll hit you with this 4 high for 10 again. You're probably going to block it because, again, you still don't want to take 10. So I'm going to have +2 for the rest of my turn. I'm basically going to have a City Rampage. So, like, you can open Unfazed and not without a City Rampage and still feel fine. Obviously, you still want to see City Rampage because that card is just
Very good.
nutso. But Unfazed just lets you string out without needing to rely on City Rampage. So I think Unfazed is a very good card that Godzilla just got to play. And you can play Unfazed no matter what main symbol you pick Godzilla on because it's a tuned chaos. So like that's very good. Like Unfazed is just a really good card. That's one card
True.
that really stands out to me personally when it comes to these quote unquote problem cards. Because I think
Sure.
Unfazed by itself is not really,
I don't
I think it's
that
fine.
crazy.
It's good. Godzilla just kicks it up a notch. It's like, yeah, I have a 4i10 in a character that can print momentum, so you're having to deal with 2 of these, and if you block both, I have +2 to my check.
Mm-hmm.
And also
Yeah.
you block both, so you have minus. I basically have +2 speed again.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Like it is pretty
I
crazy.
definitely
That's
think
a decent one. That if for certain builds, Calvin was not running that in his list. There are 3 main cards, I believe, that actually change the way Godzilla plays. Not necessarily change the way he plays, but just helps advance that. The first one's going to be Short-Lived Promotion. When
Yes.
that came out in the Star
Same
Trek
set.
decks. Just makes him a 7-hander instead of a 6-hander, which matters.
Very.
The second came out in Apocalypse. It's finally free. It's a 6
that was on
check
my list.
that can build in off Titan Cliff and just steals a momentum and lets him go off. And then the third is the newest Guardian Angel of Chinatown. Them not being able to reduce his damage
Yeah.
matters.
Yeah.
That's
Characters that care about that. That was my problem when I was playing against Calvin. Is I was not allowed to use Mirio's Enhance to make it 0 because he would just cancel it. Like, that was one of my biggest problems with that deck, is that there were a lot of cards like Guardian Angel and like Sacrifice for the Cause that just canceled my character's main form of defense. And so those 3 cards are really the ones that kind of like not necessarily pushed him over the edge, but just fine-tuned the deck to make it more consistent. and
Yes,
faster is the biggest thing.
I agree. Finally free was the thing I was gonna say. With specifically, I was just gonna say that there's like we've kind of hit like a critical mass of I can print momentum, I can defend I can defend against other bombs against me with like momentum normalcy. I can defend my damage that I'm putting on things with things like Chinatown. Like we've kind of just hit this mass of cards that he's allowed to play on his three symbols combined into him. And I do think there's a world where that's probably going to be the case for a lot of characters going forward as we get more and more attuned, that we're going to get cards where it's just like, well, this guy just plays it really well and also this thing really well. And it turns out he's become or she's become wildly dangerous. And I feel like that's a design thing that we're probably going to see a lot more going into next year.
I mean, I don't know what they could do to Godzilla if they want to, dial it back, I guess, to give it a term. Because I know a lot of people lately have been voicing their opinions that something needs to happen with Godzilla. I personally don't really know where I sit. I'm probably just on the fence. Because granted, I haven't played against a lot of Godzilla lately.
Yeah,
but
Steph's no longer on him.
But whenever I did play against Godzilla, I don't know, I felt like Godzilla's game plan and strategy was very straightforward and didn't feel unfair. But granted, that was before all these other cards came out with, like, from AOT Apocalypse. And no, the Star Trek decks were out at the time.
Yeah.
But
Yes.
I'm just not sure where
I think the
sit
biggest
on the
problem
fence.
is he's just too good when everything lines up. So the problem is, like, on standalone +3 damage is not that bad. Standalone +2 to your check is not that bad. But now that I can play a card, it builds in a card that gets me a momentum or I'm playing Determined Advance that gets me a momentum. Like, the engine is just so efficient now that you're not having to, because there were times, back when he was originally being played, probably preset, probably even around.
I mean, he's been important. Like Ghidorah, Rodan, Godzilla have just been on the radar since they come out. There's not been a time where you shouldn't be considering 1 to 3 of those as people you'll have to deal with.
Correct. No, I'm talking about the probably around the Star Trek era. Is like, it was more like it could turn to you, but it was really more of like a turn 3 because you didn't have that consistent momentum. And now there's just so many easy ways to get the momentum and get extra cards in hand that you can almost always find it on turn 2, and you can always play enough attacks because you get that free momentum. And I think that's it's become a point where they used to be a little bit more separate. Like, yeah, the damage is scary on turn 2, and then the check and then it all comes together on turn 3. And now it's just so efficient that you have to worry about both on turn 2, and it's so oppressive.
Yeah. I mean, that's fair.
Yeah, I kind of agree to an extent that if the stars align, he's probably like the premier aggro character, like 6 hand size aggro character that just gets to go, I'm going to put down every orange card, and I'm going to flip my foundations, do all these things, so that I can put down every single orange card, and really just lay into you. And because I have the static damage, I don't have to spend anything for that. There's a good chance that 3 or 4 attacks, if I get to slam them all down, is enough on turn 2 where you can only maybe block 1. Jake, do you have anything to add about Godzilla or anything about Toronto you want to know?
No, I think we really hit it, nail on the head. There's just like, there's so many cards that they have access to. at this point in time. They're being good. I mean, Godzilla's been sticking around for a while. He showed up in the top percentage of played decks. But I feel like we've kind of hit that one on the head. I actually kind of want to hear more about the venue in Canada.
Yeah, it was their first Canadian regional. So they held it in Toronto, ostensibly
That's what I heard.
in Toronto. So the issue with
No. What does ostensibly mean?
it means we're gonna get into that. So,
Oh, okay. Sorry.
I don't think that's
it's
what
story
that
time
word
with
means.
Steph.
That's not what that
story
means.
time with Steph.
so it was supposed to be held in Toronto. It was actually held in a place called Oshawa, which is about 51 minutes without traffic east of Toronto. So I think that there was like public transit you could have taken from the airport to Oshawa, but I don't know how like navigable that was. We just rented a car. So that was a little rough. I understand Toronto is like really expensive, and so there was probably like price considerations, I guess, but like, you know, having it an hour east was not a great experience for people who were flying in and then trying to travel. And so I'm gonna do the negatives first, and then I'll go into the positives. So that was one of the negatives, and then the other negative was the venue was really small. The venue was really cute, and I really liked it, but it was really, really small. So it was the cap was 90, and there was about 52 people there, and even that was a lot. That was a lot for that venue. They had to have like some overflow tables set up. I had to sit at one of them. It was like just a little Target like card table. Not that I'm like, whoa, I had to sit at a card table. Unbelievable. But it's like, it's just kind of painting the picture of how packed this place was. And because it had these like vaulted ceilings, because it was supposed to be like a old-timey tavern, which was really cool. But when you have 52 people packed into a space that's like not really fit for 52 people, it was loud in there. It was so loud. It was louder than Atlanta. If you guys remember what Atlanta was like when we were like yelling over each other.
Is it louder than Louisville?
Maybe it was Louisville. Yeah, whatever the really loud one was, it was louder than that. Like I couldn't really hear my opponents, and it was like we were yelling at each other the whole time so that we could hear. And then there was not anywhere to escape. You know, like because when you have a card tournament, it's like a hotel venue. You walk outside, you can stand in the hallway, you can go outside, and you can kind of like sit there and like decompress. You can go sit in the lobby, you know, or you can go to your room if you have a room at the venue. But this was not attached to any hotels. This was just a big card store. It was like an event space attached to a card store. So your options were to sit at a table and sit there and it's loud, you know, or you could go outside in the parking lot and walk in circles, which is what me and James ended up doing. Or you could sit in the grass and get stung by wasps, which is what Kenny ended up doing. Kenny the geek, he got stung by a wasp in his face. I felt really bad.
I heard about that.
Yeah.
Unfortunate.
Yeah, so it was there wasn't a lot of places to decompress and kind of get some downtime and get some of the thing that I'm really passionate about, which is like engaging in community and like doing free play, and like I've talked about this a million times. I will continue talking about it a million times until hopefully I see more of it, but like we need a space. We need a space for people to come in and be able to sit down and free play and play pickup games. Like there was kids there supporting their friends and family. There's wives and husbands there supporting their loved ones. Like there was friends there, and there just wasn't space for them until people started filtering out, like on day 2. So that was rough. That was a little tough for me to get over. And then I would say the final negative for me, which was a really big one. I don't know if the venue had an elevator that I didn't see, but there were stairs leading up to the top to get to the tournament space. Maybe there was an elevator and I didn't notice it. And if there was, then I take all this back. But I would really like us to be conscious of accessibility when we're booking these venues. Sure. I don't think that was communicated that there were stairs getting up to this venue. And this is something that people just, you know, when you're able-bodied, you don't think about it. You know, it's just like, oh, stairs. Yeah, I'll walk up those, you know. But it's like, how would it be to be someone who's like in a wheelchair or has like an assisted walking device, and you come up and you're trying to go play cards and you see a fucking set of stairs and you had no idea that was there, you know? So, again, I don't know if there was an elevator that I didn't see. I did try to look for one and I didn't find one, or if this was communicated beforehand and I just missed it. But, like, accessibility should be a basic thing. Make sure everybody can get into the space and play the cards, you know?
Sure, for sure. That makes sense to me.
So those were
Also, yeah. So that one's also a really big deal if you're like Stephanie and you just like trip going
I
upstairs
did.
and almost drop your Starbucks everywhere.
I did.
Like
That was what made me think of it, is that I tripped going up the stairs and I was like, I can't believe I
This would
tripped
have
on
happened in
stairs.
an elevator.
No,
What
no,
really
no.
sparked this second.
No, it didn't. It didn't.
It's actually because I was inconvenienced.
No, I would have taken the stairs either way, but like it was just, it made me think of it. It was just like, oh, I can't believe I tripped on stairs, and then I was just like, I wonder if they even have an elevator, and then I was like, oh damn, that's kind of suck for people who can't climb stairs, you know. And that kind of like turned into that. I did trip though. I did almost drop my Starbucks everywhere. I don't know if you guys have ever seen that, like the meme of the little Pepe, and he's like on the ground with his like McDonald's spilled,
Yes,
and he's like
that
looking
one,
up.
yeah.
That
I
was
don't know how
me.
anybody ever could have missed that meme.
Yeah, that was me with my Starbucks on the stairs. So
It's like, oh, haha, this would be haha funny if I just, whoops.
yeah, looking up at James.
Downstairs.
Look at James.
Yeah, it was just,
Pathetic.
but yeah, those were my negatives, and I will say my positives now. The venue is really, really cute. I liked the old timey like tavern feel. That was neat. It was cozy. If it was much smaller, that would have been nicer.
Yeah, I saw pictures of it from.
Yeah, everything
the-
I saw on
Facebook
like
group.
stream and like Facebook group pictures you guys sent. It's like, man, this place looks cool.
It was cozy.
But-
Yeah, and Red
yeah, it
Riot
is super cool.
Red Riot did a good job running it. You know, they did a great job TOing. We had clocks that we could see at all times. I think there was like some issues with like repairings, but it was nothing serious really. It was nothing too crazy.
I know there was like a questionable we were gonna repair in round 6.
Yeah.
But I don't remember any other times where it was like, oh hey, there's a repairing.
It's round one.
But that was
Round
like
one and round
mentioned
6
on
were
a stream.
both-
But there wasn't one in round 6. It didn't end up happening.
Yeah, there wasn't
yeah, round one and round
either.
6 were both like, we're gonna repair, and then we're not gonna repair.
Yeah, and then they just didn't.
Sure.
But yeah, they did a really good job, and like Oshawa itself was fine. I didn't really have any problems with it. Just that it was so far away from Toronto.
Just wasn't Toronto. Got it.
Yeah, it was just far from the airport. You know, like that kind of sucked. Like having to just go all that way. Just like, and then why say
Sure,
it's in Toronto?
fair.
Why not just say it's in Oshawa? You know, like why? Well, did they say the Toronto Regional or did they say the Canada Regional?
It says Toronto Regional.
Okay.
It does say
all
Toronto.
the stuff said Toronto.
Okay, well, don't say Toronto Regional if it's not in Toronto. That's my. I guess that's my like small complaint.
Bonus negative.
Yeah, sorry. I'm just sticking to the
Actually,
positives.
I have more things bad to say.
Also,
I got more.
I had a lot of fun, and also they told us like very early on, they were like, we're not stopping for lunch, which was nice to know. Like, okay, we're not going to get a lunch break. They had food at the venue, so they were serving food. There were people
Cool.
that were able to get food that needed it.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, there were people
Yeah,
that were really
basically kind
thankful.
of in between rounds. Get it?
Yeah, they had like a full, maybe not a full kitchen, but they had like a kitchen where they served kind of like ballpark food, you know, like bar food basically.
That's what I expect.
Yeah, and
that
they
kind of
they had
stuff.
like snacks there, you know, and it was yeah, it was a give and
It was
take
thoughtful.
of but I hope they
was
do
workable.
more Canadian regionals. I think that was pretty good for the first try. I think there's some lessons to be learned, but there was a very big showing. I mean, it just goes to show that people are interested and people want to show up. And there was a lot of people that were from the area that were like, yeah, I'm really happy that they're doing a Canadian regional here. You know, I don't want to travel to the States. I was like, I don't blame you.
Yeah.
So, you know.
Like to co-op what you're talking about. I remember talking to a guy at a few different events who was from Canada in Atlanta, and then I talked to him at Worlds where he had come down just to kind of like hang out. He played in the Last Chance, and was just like trying to be part of the bigger community because nothing was coming up to him, so he was coming down to us.
Yeah. The other thing I found strange was that it was remote cast, and after arriving at the venue, I see now why it was remote cast instead of having casters on site, and it's because they didn't have space. So they had one little room where they had Levi hold up.
Everybody.
Yeah, it was just Levi pulled up. There's not a lot of space for more than like a few people, and so it was just kind of Levi in there with his little setup, and then they put the people on stream in there, and even in there it was really, really loud. Like, could you tell from the stream that it was really loud, or did they have good noise?
No, we
cancelers?
can't
No, it was
hear
pretty-
anything that's going on.
Okay.
Yeah,
Oh,
we
that's
could
right.
only hear the
Actual venue.
casters talk. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's
just
and that's
casters.
probably why they did it, is because they were like, you're gonna be able to hear everything in this tiny room. There's just not enough space. But
It sounds like it was. Sorry.
I don't think that was like a Red Riot problem. I think that was like a venue negotiation problem. Like, I think they didn't realize it, or something happened. There was some kind of miscommunication to where they thought they were going to have some space in the back further away, and then they ended up not being able to use it. So they were like, okay, we can't bring casters out. And that was going to be my complaint to Universes, is like, hey, why aren't there casters on site? But I see now why you did not have casters at this venue.
Yeah.
Fair.
For sure.
I was gonna say it actually sounds like it was the opposite of Worlds, where I remember casters were in an opposite room and the stream match was in an opposite room. I remember being on stream, and it was a giant room, and the casters were on one side of it, and us as the streamers and the stream judge were on the opposite side. Obviously, so we couldn't hear them.
Yeah.
But it was just like, I remember, I think it was Barrett asked us questions like, "Hey, I've been asking everybody like, what's your favorite, what's your favorite symbol or something like that?" And like he had to yell at us because we were sitting down over there and he was sitting down at the casting table, and it was just kind of like we were in a giant room that probably could have fit the whole Canada Regional in it, from what you're talking about, like.
Yeah.
And that was the room that we played the actual Worlds Day 1 in.
That's really funny.
Was the room that they were casting from. So I was just like, oh yeah, it sounds like we were the opposite effect. We're just like we're super cramped. It's like there's way too much space here.
Yeah.
Like, we didn't need all this for this day.
Yeah. Definitely we needed more space. I was surprised it wasn't hotter in there. I was expecting it to be like boiling by the end of the day, but it was
That's
not
the
bad.
Canada power.
That is the Canada power, yeah.
Canada
The weather
power.
was so nice there.
Yeah. But yeah, what about you, James? Did you have anything that I missed? I kind of just talked for like 15 minutes.
Do you have any opinions at all, James? Of any
No, I
kind?
don't-
No one
opinions.
cares what your opinions are, actually. Never mind.
Dang.
I'm just saying, I was a little bit of a mic hog. I just had a lot to say.
No, there's nothing wrong with that. I not really. I mean, like, so you kind of hit most of it. Any complaints that I had were, similar to yours. It was really just kind of small. But the actual space itself was very like pleasing to look at. Like the actual tavern style like architecture that they have inside looks really cool. It was I walked up, we got there the day beforehand and kind of walked in before everybody had got there, and checked it out, and we're like, wow, this is really cool. And they had like the reward store desk set up, and even then I think I remember overhearing somebody say that like they didn't have enough room for like the reward store and their desk to like show all their product, which was again just kind of like a space issue. But other than that, I really didn't have any issues. I was able to hear and talk to my opponents just fine. I didn't really have any kind of hearing problem. That may just be where I was placed in the room at my tables. I may have been like in the less echoey parts, but
Because I was not a pleb, I was in the top tables, and the top tables were just quieter.
I was
They're just like first class.
Listen, me and my opponents were soft spoken. We were gentle souls. Okay, it was hard for us.
Not like James.
And then just
I like
across the
James.
freaking room, you just hear, "Hey, I'm Paul. Hey, stun 2.
Yeah.
Attack Titan's Haymaker, stun 4, actually."
dude, actually, that stream room was loud though. Like the stream room specifically, because of the way it was set up, it like the walls only went up almost all the way to the ceiling, and there was no door, so it was just like so echoey. But other than that, it was. I didn't really have any problems with like the noise. And yeah, I was actually very pleasantly surprised with the temperature as well. It did not get as hot as I was expecting 50 people in that small room to be.
Heck yeah.
Fair.
Yeah, it was good. I enjoyed it. Like I said, or like we've said, I would prefer probably just a normal attached to the hotel style venue next time, just because it's just more convenient for everybody. I think at least
For sure.
maybe not for the event organizers, but at that point, you kind of have to make some sacrifices to make sure that your players have a good experience.
They had a very interesting collection of mats. Red Riot did some that I had never seen before, and two that I saw. One of them was this one at
Yeah, it's one of the
Living-
10 Collins.
yeah, I picked it up for you, Jake.
For me?
Wow. Are you?
You're You're way too nice.
I did.
Way too nice.
Yeah. So they had that, and they had Bakugo, and I was like, perfect. They also had a Choco, but someone bought that before we did.
That's okay. I own one and I have it signed.
Yeah.
You know, well,
So that was a really
You're a
nice
nerd.
positive. It was like,
'cause I'm a
oh,
fucking nerd, yeah.
Gen Con mats. I have never seen those for sale anywhere except for eBay. So I grabbed that shit very
Yeah.
fast.
Hell
I think
yeah.
that's how I had to buy mine.
Yeah.
Was eBay or something.
Yeah, now there's
Mine
just
might
one,
have actually been a private sale. I don't actually remember now.
there's just one more Deku mat I really need.
Which one?
All right.
I need the other Gen Con, like the first Gen Con one, where it's like the
Oh,
heroes, like the sketch almost. And like
Yeah,
there's
that one's
one
cool
for a
looking.
bunch of characters. Like there's an Ochako one. There's
a midnight one.
Yeah, and
there's a
Wait, there
frothy
wasn't a Choco one of
Yeah.
that?
Yeah, there's an Ochako one.
I want that
Bakugo,
Deku one
Deku.
so
I might-
bad.
I might have to get that Choco
There was a
one. I might
midnight
have
one,
to
I'm pretty
find it.
sure.
The Gen Con mats are always sick.
Yeah, they were
Yeah,
clean.
Gen Con's always really cool. I'm kind of sad we didn't make the time to go this year.
I
Maybe
know.
next year.
For sure next year. Sounds like they did some cool stuff for Universes.
Yeah, well, I mean, when I went last time for Universe, I was like, man, this is so cool. This was so fun.
Yeah.
I had a great time outside of that, and then my friends had a lot of fun while I was just like, I'm doing way better at this tournament than I thought I would. I'm sorry I have to stay here.
I'm sorry that I'm just kicking so much ass, bro.
Mhm.
Yeah, but, I mean, I only lost to, the guy who won. So
Damn.
Hell
God,
yeah.
I know how that feels. Well, I lost to like
I know it's the worst,
I lost
right?
to like 3 other people.
Been there,
but,
done that.
Yeah.
Yeah, what's that like? I'm always in the freaking bottom tier.
I will say,
I'm just like racking it up. It happened to me in Vegas against Tim Keefe. Happened to me here. I've lost Andrew Porat before plenty of times, and he's won 2 things now. So
He
Same.
won 2 regionals back to back.
yeah,
but like, I will
It's
say,
easy.
mine was a top cuts. I lost to the guy who won it all. Just saying.
yeah.
Yeah.
Just toot my own horn a little bit here.
That was a very sick sounding horn.
Yeah, that's what my horn sounds like, by the way.
Sick.
Anyway, none of
Like a sick duck.
we're done with Toronto. I'm done with Toronto. I want to talk about the future. Specifically, I want to talk about Guilty Gear Strive, the
Yeah.
fighting game turned card game in
Let's
our
go.
game. Obviously, I've got a supporter here.
You've got another
Andrew.
supporter. I'm also very excited. I'm just not
Yes.
as expressive as Andrew.
That's
Yeah,
true.
I'm ju-
you're
I'm
very
ju-
quiet,
I'm just trying
soft
to-
spoken.
Yeah,
I'm
I
just
don't
trying to hype this up.
Hard to
know?
hear in a vaulted ceiling room.
Yeah, very hard to hear. Very hard to hear. I will
Yeah, so
maintain
anyway.
that it was loud. Okay, now we can be done with Toronto.
No, you're fine. I believe you. I wasn't there. I believe both of you. I believe both of your experiences. They're both valid.
Not James's.
Oh.
His is
No,
not.
You're right. Sorry.
James,
I believe
honestly,
50% of the experiences. They're one of 50% of them are valid. So yeah, very recently we got a design teaser
Yeah.
where we were told the symbols.
What was
We
that?
were shown a couple of cards.
Holy shit! Someone muzzle Andrew.
I'm excited.
Bro,
He's
you
gonna
can't be
be-
doing that.
It's
This is gonna be
like,
a children's
whoa!
podcast.
This is not a children's podcast.
He's like, yeah, tell
This
me
is
more.
a teenager's card game.
I disagree.
Children.
That being said,
nowhere. Near.
I agree with you, Andrew, but I was presenting, so I can't really like be all.
Andrew was
At the
presenting
time, I was
too.
having to use words.
God
Yeah.
damn, bro. Y'all are gross.
Yeah, well, we are.
Wasn't that... Anyway, continue.
Go on.
So, I want to talk about that article. Have any of you read that article?
Hell no! I didn't even know it was
I
out.
have.
Okay, well, I knew Andrew did. I guess correction. Did some of us do our homework?
I never do my
And Steph
homework.
said no.
I scrubbed it a little bit.
Yeah,
I figured you would read it to me at some point.
I'm
Read it
not
to us.
gonna.
Bedtime
That's the
story.
trick. That's the trick. Jake, did you read any of this article?
What's an article and how do I read it?
Yes, I forgot. Jake, as a traditional card game player, one of the old school style, doesn't know how to read. So, we're going to talk about The couple things, I'm just going to hit the highlights. I don't want to thing, and we'll link it below. You can talk about it yourselves in the comments. We were told what symbols we were going to get, and we were shown a new keyword and a new card. So we're going to find the air, all, chaos, earth, fire, order, void, and water symbols in GGST. And our new keyword is the tension keyword. Andrew, you, being the only other person who did the homework, would you like to tell us what tension does?
Tension is a new keyword. It's a Blitz timing keyword that adds 1 Roman cancel token to your momentum.
Ooh, you said it was a token?
That's a token.
New to Universus.
It is the first ever token token in the game. The game has had counters, like wall counters and stuff of that nature, but this game hasn't had tokens before.
That's interesting. So, let's talk about that Roman cancel token card. Because for anybody who plays Guilty Gear, not just Strive, but obviously Strive, because that's the one we're doing, the Roman cancel is a big deal. It is kind of synonymous with how you play the game. So I am going to read this card to you guys. Roman cancel. Remove this card at the beginning of your turn. Period. You may play only one ability named Red each turn. The same is true of abilities named Purple, Yellow, and Blue. That being the 4 different Roman cancels in Guilty Gear Strive. Red. Enhance, remove. Change the zone of your attack. James played a whole character whose ability was change the zone of this attack, +2, make it a low.
All right.
And we know that that's very good.
The way the gears intended.
Yeah. The way the gears that were guilty intended. So we know that's a good ability. And obviously you can get it once per turn, change the zone of your own attack. It's very solid. Purple is a response, remove, spend a momentum. After your blocked attack resolves, clear it from your card pool and draw 1 card.
This is pretty good.
That's pretty strong.
Yeah, that's really good. Like, ooh. Spend 2 momentum, clear, draw a new one. Very solid.
Yeah, I mean, it's basically you just punish your opponent for blocking your attack once per turn. You just get to kick a card out and replace it, basically. It's pretty sick.
Yellow is also a response. It's remove, spend 1 momentum. And it's before you take damage from an unblocked attack, change that attack's damage to 3.
Now, this is actually crazy because you can pair this with Toughest Punk and just say, okay, well, I'll respond with yellow to make it 3. I'll then Toughest Punk to reduce it by 3. It is now hitting for nothing.
I also think that's the deflect window, isn't it? So you could respond yellow, respond deflect?
Yes, before you take damage from an unblocked attack. So you should be able to deflect. Yes, you should be able to deflect. So you can change its damage to 3 and then deflect.
That's really strong. Holy crap. That
Should
is
be
good.
for deflect.
That's
What's that?
not true. Deflect is cool.
I said finally a use for deflect.
Deflect is cool. Shut the hell up. Next.
Exactly. Thank you, Andrew. Like, we're on the same page, and these guys are haters. The last color, yeah, especially you, Jake, the blue Roman cancel is a form, remove, freeze 1 rival foundation, which obviously is very good, along with the yellow if you're trying to, like, live through a turn and kind of get your backswing.
Yeah, like red and purple are the offensive words, and yellow, blue are the defensive words. I find that blue is pretty good just because if they happen to use, say, their moment of normalcy on offense, or any other like problem card that they could use for defense, but they used it on offense, you can just freeze it, and you don't have to worry about it when it goes back to their turn. Or you can stun them on your turn. They commit the card that they don't need, but because they need it for their turn, and you say, actually, form speed, you're not going to get that card on your turn. Congrats.
Agreed. Other than Andrew, who obviously did his homework, who else has opinions about the Roman cancels?
The what now?
Okay, well,
I see
besides
that you
Jake,
didn't show
because
up to
nobody
this.
cares what Jake thinks.
I see you didn't show up today.
I mean, to be completely honest, I think Roman cancels are really, really big. Just because getting the momentum in general, like this is gonna add way more ways to generate momentum. Because don't forget, you can spend this as normal momentum.
Yeah, it's still a momentum, but you also get these other effects. I'm curious, based on the image, if we're going to errata it to say enhance momentum, form momentum, like response momentum, to show that it's supposed to be from there, as like a functional errata, because technically it doesn't say that, and I'm sure some old heads will have some confusion about what that means. I mean, they'll argue towards the rules, which is fair. Like, there's nothing wrong with saying, "Hey, this is how you wrote the game."
Well, for that
does that work?
specifically, the rules for token, and listed in the article here, it says when you add a Roman cancel to your momentum, and then it says the rules for token cards is that you can allow to use token abilities in the zone it was created. So since it was created in momentum, it doesn't need to specifically say momentum.
Beautiful. We've already
tokens
solved
work.
it. We're so cool.
This man just went back in the textbook a couple pages and was like, "Oh, actually, I know this one. Actually, teacher,
Good job.
I know this one. I know this one, teacher."
Good job, James. I am proud of my most successful student.
Your only student.
Steph's
Dad.
my student by proxy.
I am your student. I think you taught me the game before James did, right?
I
it
probably
was a
taught
joint
you
effort.
with
Yeah.
James.
You taught me how to play Magic, and that was my first card game.
That's definitely true. I definitely taught you how to play Magic.
You're like the OG sensei.
I'm just an old
I
man.
wish I had learned something.
Old man sensei.
Brian.
Maybe we should have been friends way before we ever met.
Yeah, maybe we should have been.
But we weren't. So anyway,
By proxy, I'm your sensei, Brian.
to be fair, you are not the person who taught me how to play, but you were like definitely my sparring partner. Like, my first games where I really got to play the game, where I built my own deck and somebody else had built theirs, were with you. So
Okay,
As
so
we've always
I was
said.
more so your Ken to your Ryu.
yeah, exactly, which is still good, right? You want nobody's like, Ken's lame.
Hell yeah. I'll take
Well.
that. Shut up.
Yeah, I think in general, Roman cancels, I think the purple and the yellow are going to be the most useful. I think the other two, I feel like red is probably going to be the least used. Blue will have
You
its
don't-
spots.
I feel like red's
Yeah.
situational, because changing the zone is like really strong
It
when it matters.
can be. Yeah,
You go,
it
oh,
can be.
turns out this is a low now, or this is a high now, because
Mhm.
you showed you didn't have it.
Yeah, for sure. Like there are spots where it will be used. I think the only time that it can super be used effectively is if you have things like Trigrav and whatnot that let you look at their
Mhm.
hands so you can confirm zones. Otherwise, you're just kind of guessing. Whereas the other ones like always definitely help you.
I
so
mean, but
that's-
that's also why those cost less, right? Like, they're
Mhm.
just, they only cost a 1, whereas purple and yellow cost 2.
Right.
They cost a real momentum and the token momentum. To be fair, I think like purple is wildly strong on offense. If you just have it, just go, you got me. Oh wait, no, you didn't. Let me kill you now, showing you all the other cool cards I have.
Yeah, like being able to just punish your opponent for blocking an attack you get to ignore one progressive and you get to replace the attack you just played. Like, that's really good.
Agreed. So what I find really interesting, and we haven't really touched on, is the 4 cards that they showed in this article that generate tension are attacks. Obviously, we can hold the Roman cancel for the beginning of our turn. To do that, I'm curious if we're going to get any other ways to build tension.
I mean, we'd have to see, because obviously, the reveal season rather of Strive hasn't started yet. We only
Arguably
have
just started, right? We
I
we're
guess
starting to
I guess
reveal
technically it
cards.
has just started. I'm just saying, I was more speaking in the sense that content creators and stuff, like, I don't think a list of content creators and stuff like for doing reveals hasn't been released yet. That's typically just how I dictate like starting of spoiler season, but even though we got cards here, so that's probably not fair to really say. But we'd have to see more of the set before to see if that is the case.
Mhm.
And who knows, maybe they put tension on almost every attack, which would sound crazy because it just says, hey, I'm gonna build tension regardless. Granted, I'm pretty sure you can stack multiple Roman cancels, but you can only use one
Of
named
each
ability
color.
a turn.
Mhm.
Yeah. So you can stack these Roman cancels, but you can't like do purple multiple times or do yellow multiple times. Like, they are hard once per turns. So I don't know. Maybe we'll see this set full of tension.
Which is supported by the article, because there's a section where he says, I decided to lock in uh, on supporting it. After all, almost every attack in the video game builds the tension meter. So what better way to capture that than by giving tension to most attacks in the set? And speaking of almost every attack having tension, we were shown 4 cards that have tension. So let's go over those.
Let's.
The first one is, what could this be?
Creepy man in a bag. That's what this could be.
Yeah, Bagman. Uh, it's a 4 difficulty, 3 check, 1 high block attack. It's a 2 mid, 4 damage with tension, ranged, and blitz. Use the effect below that matches the card type checked to play this attack. An attack, this attack gets +2 speed. A foundation, this attack gets +2 damage. All other types draw a card. And it is chaos attuned. This card's interesting.
I mean, I like that it plays off of what you checked. So like, if you checked bad, you can make this faster. If you checked good, it's hitting harder. Or if you check a backup action or asset, you get to draw a card. So you get to replace. You
Or
put this in the
character.
card pool. You get to, or a character. You get to replace the space in your hand that you just lost.
That's true. That's true.
Pretty good for a 4 div.
Yeah, I'm saying, I think it's interesting. It's an uncommon. It doesn't do anything too crazy. I mean, it is what I want chaos to be when we talk about like some of the weird other common and uncommon mechanics for chaos are just, I randomly check or I randomly make you mill a card, and based on what's milled or checked, I get a thing. That's where I think chaos should be. I think that's such a cool idea. But obviously that's hard to build around.
Right.
Yeah.
Your deck becomes very like variable, unlike, or you have a high level of variance in what's actually going to happen when you play this deck, which makes sense for chaos, but makes it hard to be competitive.
Yes, that's the real thing. Is it makes total sense for the word chaos. It is literally like, we talked about Death Casino for a long time, and I always was like, this should be Chaos Casino. Where I don't know what's going to happen. Let's just see what happens. That makes sense for something like Chaos. because we're just basically gambling.
Yeah, for sure. I think there is a world where they could try to do more of that. But I don't know. It would be hard to see those getting like actual competitive play just for the variance reasons.
Agreed. But they would
usually
have
when
good
you're-
flavor.
Yes, exactly. Unfortunately, usually when you're trying to build stuff, you want it to be as consistent as possible, which would stray you away from anything chaotic.
Exactly.
But at the same time, like, chaos has been eaten well. What if we just gave them some cards that go, hey, here's actual chaos?
I mean, sure.
What's chaotic about playing a 6 diff that is a 6 mid, 6 damage that can't be reduced, that steals you momentum?
It's pretty chaotic.
Is
Chaotic
it?
to my board when I have to play against it.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Sure.
That's what the real chaos symbol is. It causes chaos to your opponent.
the mental games.
The mental chaos.
Yeah. Speaking of 6 diffs, though.
Yeah, speaking of 6 diffs. Behemoth Typhoon. It's a 6 diff, 3 check. Plus 0 high block. It's a 5 high for 7 damage with tension, charge, and slam. It's on the order symbol. And it has response. After you commit 3 or more cards to pass a check to play this card, your rival commits 2 foundations.
This card is kind of crazy.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
It's
I
so
like that.
funny.
This
I
card's
like
sick.
that. Yeah, I like this
This
card.
card is so cool.
This is the first card
Yeah.
that's made me like perk up and been like, huh? What was that?
Yeah.
Say that again?
Yeah, the first card was like, yeah, whatever. Then Steph heard 5 high 7 commit rival foundations. Wait, hold up, real card?
I like that this is basically response speed stun 2,
Yes.
or sometimes response speed stun 2 because I blocked with it.
Yes.
Oh, that's a good
yeah.
point.
It says play this
This card is
so you-
cool.
Yeah, this
Yeah.
is actually a really cool card. It's also funny because with these high diff attacks, you typically want to open with them because they'd be cheaper. This really says, no. Play me as the second. Or maybe even
the third.
attack.
Let's make sure you have to stun 2 on them.
Yeah, you basically just say, hey, here's a big attack as like my second or third in my string. I'm like we'll say on an 8 because we played it as our third attack. We check a 5, tap
Which is what
3.
we
It's
want.
like, yeah, it's like, hey, we'll tap you down 2, and this is a 5 high 7. You probably blocked at least 1 attack possibly previously in the string, so this is gonna be harder for you to block. Oops,
Get domed. Yeah,
Typhoon.
this card is really cool, and it steals your momentum because it has tension.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Yep.
In this
Let's go.
Behemoth Typhoon.
yeah.
it's just so cool. This card, it's an uncommon, but like, man, I could see this making plenty of lists.
So
Yeah,
I'd
this is
also
very cool.
like to point out, so Behemoth Typhoon, most of Golden Lewis's attacks are Behemoth Typhoons.
That's true.
So this has multiple uses, and like you can play it in different spots, and it still makes sense, which is pretty unique and interesting to like interesting correlation to like his skills.
Yeah, because he has he basically does, if I remember correctly, half circles, but every single half circle is a different version of Behemoth Typhoon.
Correct.
I couldn't remember if it was half
Something
circles.
similar. I don't know if it's half circles, like, but yes, you're basically on it.
In the comments, somebody will be like, "Hey, I'm a Gold Lewis one trick. I'm the greatest that's ever done it," and they'll tell us otherwise.
Hopefully.
If you don't, you're banned.
Oh,
You're
yeah,
not
I'm
banned,
sure
but I will
that
be
person
sad.
is watching this video.
Look, that guy cares about Gold Lewis.
He cares about
Yeah.
this Behemoth Typhoon.
Yeah.
He
Also,
cares
I
about
mean,
every Behemoth Typhoon.
this.
Behemoth Typhoons matter.
This is just a very cool card. And Order Attuned, like, I like that this can just be thrown in any Order X character.
Mm-hmm.
Because this seems like an attack you could reasonably just splash in a handful of decks. This does have 3 keywords, so you could throw this in a patchwork list.
Word.
And these are 2-3 keywords that are not on
Not
Patchwork.
on Patchwork, exactly. That actually would be really funny. Even if you're just like, I'm not gonna get the commit to, but Behemoth into Patchwork,
I mean, you could
I'll
still
kill you.
you could still play Random Attack Behemoth into Patchwork. They're probably just dead.
That's true. You're just like gambling on checking a 4 because you really want to check 3 less than what it costs for Behemoth.
Yeah.
But no,
This
I
card's
think
sick.
that card's really cool.
This card's very sick.
Yeah, this card is it's gonna enter lists a bunch of times, and then it may or may not leave list afterwards. But I feel like I'm gonna put this in a bunch of decks and then go, is this really worth it? Like, man, this block trick is really cool. It's on an attack trigger that's really cool. Does it do enough?
I mean, to that argument as well with blocking it, like you can virtually hold on to your speed hate if they have it like 6 speed or whatever. You can block on a 6, check a 3, tap 3, they commit 2. So like you can hold your speed hate if they choose to play through the commit.
You're actually kind of gambling on, hey, you play like a high block on like a 7 or 8, and you go, yeah, man, I got you. I don't care. I'm not gonna spend the speed hate. It's on 8. I check the 5. I commit to 3. You get punished, and I still have all my speed hate up to block the next one.
Exactly. So like
No, I agree. It's
Yeah.
real. This card's really cool.
this
As
attack
an
is
uncommon, this
sick.
card is like, this card feels pushed as an uncommon.
I looked at this card. I was like, oh, this is cool. And then we're talking about it. I'm like, no, this card is gas.
That's how I felt for Heaven or Hell and Let's Rock. I was like, dude, this card is really cool.
Yeah.
Let's Rock is so fun.
Let's Rock is not as cool as Heaven or Hell. Just saying.
Let's Rock in Godzilla with Titan Cliff is just like everything he ever wanted to do.
Yeah, well, Godzilla's lame. That's boom.
And that's what we do.
Vine
We just
boom.
blame the beasts.
Fine.
We blame the beasts. Let's rock.
Heaven or hell. It's a foundation. Let's rock.
Let's
couldn't
rock.
find-
Also a foundation.
They couldn't find their sippy cups, so they turned to the gods. The refrigerator's unplugged. Heaven or hell.
So they blame the
Light.
beasts. Exactly. I love Guilty Gear. It's the greatest. Anyway, I got a couple more cards to talk about. The next one is Throw Servant. A 4-diff, 3 check, 3 high for 3, 1 mid block. It has tension, ally, and ranged. Blitz, if you have another ally card in your card pool, draw a card. Very good generic effect. And it's on the water symbol.
And is not a throw.
It is not a throw
Yeah.
because you're throwing the servant. You're like throwing it at them. Not like throwing your servant.
I
You put the
think
word
this-
throw in the card name, it's got to be a throw. That's just the rules.
It's just the rules. I think
keep
this card's
doing
cool.
this.
I think this card's cool. I like that ally is getting a bit more oomph with this set. With it being on water though, water isn't really the ally symbol.
It's true.
But I still like that they have this. Well, if you're playing allies, hey, this is a pretty cool card to put in the list. Because if you play this, then you get to draw a card if you have another ally in the card pool.
I wonder if the idea is to kind of like create a card pool of, hey, symbol types matter on like these off symbols, or like attack types matter on these off symbols, where you're kind of incentivized to play characters and like, what character cares about allies and also has the water symbol and then also has like the life symbol, I guess is like the ally symbol right now.
Evil.
Evil, obviously. So like it was like, well, who has evil, life, and water who really cares about allies? Because now I get this other card draw that generates a momentum. That's why it's a 3 for 3. Like, I'm not losing that much. It draws me a card, generates me a momentum, and it says, hey man, do you want to block it? On a 5, effectively. That's pretty good, right?
Yeah.
The answer is literally only Asui 2.
Yes, a very common character who's very good. The
Man,
point being,
struggling
I
to put
think
words out
we're
there.
trying to create these like offshoots of, hey, if you end up with a character that you want to play, like an evil water character could play this and the evil ally package and be like, yeah, draw extra cards, and also I generate momentum and I do some cool stuff, and I have all these water effects and evil effects.
I mean, I'm in. I think the card's cool.
I'm not totally convinced because it says ally, but and like the keyword gating I think is a little rough, even though I think I've maybe possibly cracked the code on how we're designing sets for at least a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, also with this, I would tell me that there's going to be more allies in the set.
Yeah, I would assume everything
Like, I would hope so.
from this character effectively is basically on there as an ally, or the majority of it is at least.
Speaking of ally cards,
Speaking of ally cards, we have the last card that was revealed here, which is Sepultura, a 5-diff, 3-check, +2 low block. It's a 4 high, 5 damage move with tension ally kick, and it has Blitz. If you have 2 or more momentum, this attack gets +3 damage. And then, of course, it has the Earth symbol attuned as how you can play it.
I
that
think
just says if you've played 2 Guilty Gear Strive attacks, it gets +3 damage.
basically, yeah, I was about to say this card's cool because if you play 2 attacks from this set with tension, you just get to give this 3 damage. So it's already out the gate of 4 high 8, which is pretty cool, pretty good.
You don't even have to have played 2 of them. This can just be on a 6. It's a 4 high 8 because it has tension. So you tension the second one, and then immediately you have 2 or more momentum.
True. Nah, this card's neat. And it's pretty cute. I mean, it's got Giovanna on it. So, like,
That is true. I think
pretty
she's
good.
pretty cool.
she's pretty sick.
And of course, it's got
You got her little dog kicker. That's the ally right there.
Yeah,
true,
basically.
yeah. It's named after Brazilian metal band. It's just really cool. It's a great card.
Giovanna is going to be in this set. I'd be down.
Dude, I would. I didn't play her a lot, but she's cool. So,
I
like,
also didn't play her a lot, but anytime I fought against Giovanna, I was like, yo, this character looks sick as hell.
I say that from like older games. Like I haven't played Strive. I don't own Strive. I just played a little bit of Strive with friends. But like Xrd, XX, like Giovanna's cool. Like a lot of my knowledge of the current character base is from 10 years ago because I'm an old man who
That's
doesn't
fair.
get with the times.
Yeah,
But-
that's fair.
They're
I think
so
this
cool.
one is interesting with, like it would, inside of Strive. I don't know that I just see too much play outside of it purely because it's a 5-diff. I think if it was a 4, it could actually see like real play.
We don't have any character on Earth that cares about 5 diffs, right?
No, not really. Not one that's
Oh,
really
yeah.
good, at least.
I mean, that makes sense, right? So, okay.
Especially
I just
not
wanted to
one
make
that cares
sure.
about having momentum.
Yeah, right. That's what.
No.
That's what I was double checking about. I just wanted to make sure.
No, not any good ones. One thing, real quick before we kind of wrap up here, I did want to bring something up that maybe you guys hadn't noticed, because I hadn't noticed until I saw it in a thread the other day. We are no longer printing enhances on attacks unless they're keywords. Everything is a blitz or a response. Or
Correct. I've noticed that for a while.
Mhm.
We have had a couple of enhances in like Crit Roll and a couple other sets, but they're very rare. I don't love that. I kind of like being allowed to choose when to press the button and
Yes.
kind of like manipulate my opponent into going, hey, I could do this at any time. Are you going to do something about it? Can you do something about it?
Yeah,
Mhm.
like I like the back and forth interaction with the enhances. Blitzes kind of take that away. and I don't like that. I really like the back and forth with enhances. So with this sort of like design space of not really printing a lot of enhances, having mostly blitzes, like I don't love it. I'm like, it's like Brian said, I don't love it. I
Fine
want
with
us. I
I do
want us to
think-
keep enhances.
I think it does achieve exactly what they were going for right before they released Blitz. They said they wanted to reduce mental load.
Sure.
There is now a tried and true, this is when you use this ability. Every time you play this card, it happens at this time or it doesn't happen at all. And it also
Yeah.
reduces the number of interactions during the enhanced step.
Mhm.
I agree that I like the enhances on the cards and doing them when I want to. But it does achieve what they went out for when we were like, why do you want to reduce mental load and then introduce blitz and all these new keywords? Well, it's kind of working towards something, and I think that does help with that.
I love it. I really like it. I like getting rid of enhances. That is like when the game is not fun to me, is when it's just like, and I understand that I have a different playstyle than everybody else. Me personally, I don't like this back and forth. It takes fucking forever sometimes. Like I like that we're like speeding the game up a little bit, you know? Like I think that is a good thing. And I'm now that I'm
That's
like
fair.
thinking about it, I'm kind of glad that we're moving away from enhances and we're going more into like blitzes and things happening at like instant, very quick speeds. Yeah, I'm happy about that. Now that you've like said it that way, that they are like reducing the mental load, I can see it, and I think it's really cool.
Yeah. And I guess we do have enhances and stuff on our stage as well.
Correct.
For
They're
now.
just not on the attacks. The only ones that we've really seen that are on cards are like card pool enhances or hand enhances. I looked and I was scrolling pretty quickly, but this started in set 2 of AOT, and since then, the only one that I found was a hand enhance and a from and like a card
And a
pool
card pool
enhance.
enhance.
There were no enhances that hit during the enhanced step for that attack.
Right.
I will say, Steph, I love you. I don't necessarily agree. I feel like it's really cool to be able to do these things. James, you're right. You have pointed out a really true thing. I do think part of the idea is like this idea of, hey, I'm attacking, so it's really kind of my turn. So I do, like, I play Sepultura. Or I play Behemoth Typhoon or whatever. I use the tension effect. I get a momentum. I use the blitz effect. I get damage, or I make you commit effects, or like, or respond. I do my double blitz, and I enhance. It is now your turn as the defender. How do you want to deal with my onslaught of effects that I got to put on because it's my turn, not yours?
It just feel
And-
like, sorry.
No, you're fine. I was gonna say, and like I agree with it to a degree. Even fighting games have kind of gone into this level of, hey, when it's your turn, it should really feel like your turn. You are in the driver's seat. You get to decide if you're plus or minus. You get to decide if your opponent gets to try and like surprise you. And then your opponent goes, actually, I have a few things that let me surprise you. I have a combo breaker or a, like in our game, barrier shield that goes, actually, I have some responses. I get to do some things outside of what's on my stage.
So I
In-
think what makes a lot of sense to me and why I'm okay with it and why it makes sense that James is saying it's reducing mental load is like when you think of attacks, now you're thinking what's going to be on this attack? It's going to be blitzes. It's going to be things that happen really quickly. Instead of
Yeah, it
like
happens
looking visually all over your stage to see where your enhances are, it's just like, okay, I play my attack, I'm doing blitzes. Attacks only have blitzes. Okay, now I'm going to enhances. Now my eyes are going to go down to my stage.
Now
look
I'm
at
going to
stage.
my foundations.
Right, exactly.
agree.
So that's where it makes sense to me, and I think it's going to make it easier for people to like not miss triggers. You know, like it's, I don't know how to like articulate this well, but it's like grouping certain mechanics on
It's
certain cards.
you're effectively compartmentalizing
Right.
where you should be at a part in your turn.
Exactly.
So when I play an attack, I know I do everything on the attack that I want to do, and then I go down to my stage and I do everything in my stage I want to do. And then my opponent gets to do everything in their stage they want to do.
Yeah.
And then we go to the block step.
I know that's not necessarily the case because I know that there are blitzes on on foundations, and there's like first forms and things like that. But
There's force forms. I don't actually think we've seen a blitz on anything that isn't
is there not?
an attack.
I'm pretty sure there isn't a blitz on
Okay.
Foundations.
Well,
haven't seen
I
one.
guess there's responses, but it's just
But I know what you meant.
yeah, like it's just one less thing that you have to keep track of in a game
Yeah,
where
we're
there's
slowly
so much
bringing
to keep track
them-
of.
Which I'm on your side. I'm on people like me who like to press the buttons when I want to press them.
Yeah.
Side where I get the idea of saying, hey, let's make this a little more streamlined. 99% of the time, this is how the game plays out anyway. So what does it matter if you can't do anything during that section? But I also feel like, well, sometimes that 1% really matters. It feels good to go, hey, this is 1% of the time. You should have been paying attention. Or I have a response or I have a thing that lets me interact with you. And you could have looked at my board, looked at my character, and known that I could do this. If you weren't paying attention, that's not my fault. But at the same time, I get why we're doing it. I understand why we're trying to make things easier for people coming in, because that's definitely how I felt coming in. I was like, wow, this is really complicated. I like complicated stuff. Some people don't, and I don't really blame them for, I don't want to learn all that. I don't care about that.
Yeah, for sure. Like I do think having this sort of design philosophy for the attacks, I definitely think it reduces mental load, and I think it can help newer players get into the game, which these blitz boxes are supposed to be a bit more accessible for newer players getting into the game. It's 12-pack boxes. So it's not like a full booster box. It's a lot more. This is a lot more affordable, so it's an easier jump in point for newer players. So like I think it all like wraps like really neatly as like you're getting into universes. Here's the product for you.
All right, well, enough about metal bands and tension and Roman cancels.
But I like
Obviously-
talking about those things.
Wait, no one cares.
Shut
right
up,
now,
Andrew.
Dad.
Oh,
Okay, I'm not going that far. But
okay.
we've talked enough. They've heard us. They can give us their opinions on what we said down below, obviously. We are done. This is
Just like that.
yeah. This was it. This is the last episode ever.
Whoa.
Response-
Until next week.
Until next week.
Until 7 days from now, when we do it again. I have been Brian with Response on Play.
I've been Steph, loading my mentals.
I've been Jake. Fight.
Andrew. Quack.
And I'm James. Just the other guy.
Let's rock.